Hello there, one and all, and thank you very much for tuning in to episode 562 of Love at First Scent with me, Persolaise, live on YouTube as always. Whether you're watching the live or you're watching the recording, you are very, very welcome. I should also very, very quickly say, if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please do consider doing so, and if you would like to find out how you can support my work, you should be able to see a link to my Ko-fi page in the video description below, as well as the Substack. Right, very, very quickly, for those of you watching live, the plan for today is to do two back-to-back showcase episodes. Oh, we have a first comment from Mitrikai who says, hello, you must be up really early, or are you traveling again? Anyway, thank you very much for tuning in. Spencer says, good morning. I wonder if the comments are going to start coming in now. Here we go. Gender Goblin says, good afternoon. Ula says, hi all. Slightly unusual time. If you're watching the recording, this won't mean anything to you, but we're doing this at midday on a Monday, and we hardly ever do videos on a Monday, let alone at midday UK time. But I thought maybe we could, try and target other parts of the world. Maybe Australia might be tuning in now. Susanna says, for the first time I'm here from Australia. Thank you very much. An absolute pleasure. Georgette says, hi everyone. It's 4 a.m. here, says Karen. Well, thank you very much for tuning in, but maybe you should be getting your beauty sleep. But thank you for tuning in. Dushan says, happy Monday, everyone. Flavie says, good afternoon from Paris. Scent of the day is L'heure bleue. Gosh. Anyway, as I was saying, back-to-back showcase reviews, both of them of brands that until very recently I wasn't, I was going to say I wasn't familiar with. I'd never even heard of them, actually. I didn't know anything about them at all. So I think we just need to get going, really. So the first brand, and I'm very, very grateful to Brooke Belden of Saint Cellier for bringing this brand to my attention. The first brand is a Croatian brand called Eveilleur. This is one of their bottles. They have 3 perfumes, so we're going to be able to get through their entire catalogue in the next 15 minutes or so. This one is called, can you see that? Discvr Me, but done, without vowels, so I'm not going to call it Discvr Me. We'll give it its proper name. It's by Olivier Cresp. And various reasons why I wanted to share the brand with you. I think one of the main ones being that this was an interesting case for me of not judging the perfume by its bottle. This aesthetic, and I know we've said plenty of times on this channel that we're not swayed by bottles, but there will be such things as unconscious biases as well, won't they? And biases that may be working on levels that we don't fully appreciate. And this kind of aesthetic is not something that, personally I find appealing or pleasing. It's got a kind of dragonfly motif on the front. I mean, that's okay. I suppose I don't mind dragonflies, but this, if I was going to allow myself to make a judgment just based on the look of the bottles, I thought that this would be a kind of overpriced, somewhat blingy, forgettable kind of nothing. But the samples did come from Brooke at Saint Cellier, which made me think, okay, number one, Brooke really doesn't stock at Saint Cellier things that we could call nothings. And also, if she's sending them to me, and she will have a fairly good idea of the directions that my taste will take me in, if she's sending them to me, she must be thinking that they're going to resonate with me in some way. And wouldn't you know it, she's right. It looks a bit tacky, says Alex. Yeah, exactly. It's that kind of thing. Juan says, 4 a.m. here and perfect timing because I just started my lunch. I'm not going to ask. So I think we should smell them. 2 of them are by Olivier Cresp and 1 is by Nathalie Lawson. Let's start with the Lawson one, because I've got pre-sprayed blotters. I've got pre-labeled blotters as well. Brooke has impeccable taste, says Perfume, but I would be inclined to agree. So this is not in this. Oh, the other thing as well was the names. The vowel-free spelling of Discvr Me. Names like Not Innocent. This one is called I Am. Yeah, and you kind of think, okay, well maybe this is a little bit lost in translation. It's the kind of brand with it, had I, for example, seen a stand of theirs at a perfume fair, like maybe at Aix-en-Provence or Pitti in Florence or something, I would have thought, oh, well, I'll see how I get on. Maybe I'll have time to go to them at the end. Karen's saying, is the thumbnail the Kylie pic from last time? Do you know, it probably is. I will have to change it. I can change that retrospectively. I will change it after the broadcast is over. I have prepared a thumbnail, but clearly I just didn't change it. Thank you very much for letting me know, Karen. That's hilarious. The Kylie pic isn't going away. Anyway, so this is Not Innocent from Eveilleur. Yeah, and when I smelt this, I thought, ooh, we're going into kind of 80s, maybe even further beyond, retro, quite grand, orange blossom, unashamedly feminine, lactonic, musky territory. The kind of thing, I don't know, the kind of thing that maybe Cacharel might have launched in the 80s. It's very, very rich, very, very. There's something quite baroque about it, and definitely not cheap, definitely not tacky. I don't know whether there's a kind of peachy inflection to the orange blossom as well, and the name Not Innocent actually works quite well because there is something naughty, seductive about it. I need to make sure that this is the Nathalie Losson. I'm pretty sure it is the Nathalie Losson. I think what we'll do is Juan is explaining why 4 a.m. is lunch. I work nights, graveyard shift, and been doing this for the last 19 years. Okay, well, you didn't have to explain, but thank you very much for explaining. Helter Skelter Jones says, watching this in the passenger seat of a car on my way to Legoland with the little ones. Do you know, I have never been to Legoland. None of the little ones in my life have ever thought to take me to Legoland, but one day. Which Legoland is it? I can't remember whether you're based in the UK. Is that the one in Windsor or... Well, I hope you have a great time, and I hope one day somebody takes me to Legoland. Right, so, Not Innocent. No, I take it back. Not Innocent is not the one by Nathalie Losson. It's by Olivier Cresp. So, interesting. So for Not Innocent, the blurb goes, who are you? Who am I? It doesn't matter now. Tonight we are not innocent. This scent burns like the lover's dark stigmata with a deep capacity to develop and grow beyond your painful fantasies in the middle of the night, burning bodies hunting each other, starving tender and delicate for more. You will find yourself in an asymmetric vortex, shifting from lightness to darkness. Okay, well, I think we'll move that prose to one side. But the thing that is worth mentioning is that it's Cresp revisiting his gourmand territories. So in and amongst that kind of orange blossomy feel, you've got something that smells like rose, but also a strong caramelized toffee milky thing. It's almost like, if you remember his bake for his own brand Acro, it's almost like he's taken the kind of sweet cake-like feel of Acro, but instead of making it a lemon drizzle cake, he's turned it into, I don't know, maybe some kind of toffee tart or toffee cake or treacle tart, that kind of thing. And obviously, as you would expect from something gourmandesque, it's got a lot of vanilla in the base as well. But it's well done. It's well done, and maybe it's the Cresp connection that's making me think of like 80s Cacharel compositions. Let's do the other one. So now we should do the Nathalie Losson. That's the one that's called I Am. Here we go. Quick spray, and we will do the pre-sprayed blotters after I've done all three of these, I think. So I Am. What does I Am do to start with? Again, I wonder if the founder of the brand, and I should tell you who the founder is, but I'm going to mispronounce the name. The founder is something called Diana, but that's spelt with a J. Diana Jukic. Is that? You can look it up. I'm going with Diana Jukic, but I hope that's Correct. And according to the Saint-Celier website, she is celebrating Croatia and the Azure coastline on the Adriatic Sea. So, this one again, so what I was going to say is I wonder if the founder has a thing for grand, more baroque, floral, 80s style compositions, because here, and this is quite an abstract floral, which is interesting. We don't get very many of those these days, with a strong musky base. This calls to mind compositions like things from Givenchy, like Organza and Isatis. Do you remember those really, really big shoulder paddy sorts of florals that looked as though like if they were gowns, they would be made from some really, really iridescent, electrically coloured fabric, maybe like a really, really opulent, dazzling kind of silk. Sandra says, gourmand orange blossom scents seem to be trendy among young Parisian girls. I smell the scent profile more lately. Interesting. Not being Parisian, I can't say I've noticed this myself. I Am, what do they say about it? Introducing I Am, a fragrance that embodies the essence of divine expression. The name itself resonates with strength, capturing the very spirit of self-affirmation and empowerment. This olfactory masterpiece is a symphony of bold and sophisticated notes, carefully crafted to evoke the commanding presence of the godly within. Okay, so they're not underselling these things, are they? Immerse yourself in the aromatic journey of I Am, where each drop encapsulates the power and confidence of embracing one's truest self. With every breath, experience a scent that is not just worn but embraced, an ode to the strength that resides. It doesn't need it. These two perfumes do not need this bludgeoning you over the head with a sledgehammer type prose. They really don't. The notes that they cite are mandarin, freesia and pink pepper, magnolia, orange blossom and peony, cedarwood, benzoin and musks. So it is a grand floral, and it's almost making me think of, how that kind of floral, that floral grandness, that floral style was extended kind of further into the 90s with things like J'adore before it was really messed around with when Kelly Spaker gave us J'adore, but took those kinds of 80s florals and made them more translucent and more luminous. It's got that kind of feel to it as well. There's definitely more than a hint of original J'adore here. It's very, very likeable, very, very attractive. And Karen says, speaking of Cacharel, this name reminds me of the Yes I Am line. Oh, do you mean from the Lulu advert? But wasn't it in French? I think I only saw that ad. I'm guessing you mean the Lulu advert, when somebody goes Lulu and she turns around and goes, oui, c'est moi. What was the music? I can hear the music now. I'm so glad that we have all got, so many of us have got these shared cultural references. And finally from Monsieur Cresp, this is Discvr Me, or Discover Me, and this is the other kind of style that Cresp does really well. So of course, as we know, he is the king of gourmands, but also he is very, very, very skilled at creating perfumes that have a kind of deceptive lightness to them. We're thinking of Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue, the colognes that he's made for other brands, going back to Dior again, Dune pour Homme, that was a beautiful piece of work. This is definitely got that kind of let's hit the beach type thing, but it's doing it and a really, really nicely done salty facet, but it's got a kind of cucumber / mango green yellowiness to it. It's very figurative. Cresp has famously said that he doesn't like dealing with abstract concepts in perfume, that he wants to be given a very definite thing to create in an olfactory sense. And to me this is cucumber, mango, sea spray, and a bit of driftwood. It is much better done than I thought something coming from a dubious bottle like this would be. What do they say about it? So Discover Me, they call it a stormy voyage into the unknown. Okay, I think maybe stormy is pushing it a bit. Discover Me explores new paths through the gales and the storms, daringly like the untethered spirit of the stormy sea. I think maybe they need a native English speaker to sort out their prose here, but never mind, we'll let them have this. This scent baths in its own shadow, demandingly, selfishly beautiful, crashing wildly from its peak. I'm not going to carry on reading that, so let's just look at the notes. Bergamot, eucalyptus buds, and Everlasting Flower Absolute. Actually, yeah, you do get that kind of darkness of Immortelle there. Then a salty watery accord Jasmine, Lentisque Absolute, Ambrox, Musks, and Oak Moss. It works. It works as a kind of richer, more faceted, brainier kind of Dolce & Gabbana light blue. It actually works surprisingly well. Did ChatGPT write that, says Mitra? ChatGPT's grammar is better. ChatGPT's grammar is usually not bad at all. Then maybe they should have put it through ChatGPT. I mean, that would have been a good use for it. Anyway, so let's look at our pre-sprayed one. So pre-sprayed, not innocent. Okay, so now the gourmand stickiness, the toffee comes through, but because it's an Olivier Cresp gourmand, it's done very, very convincingly and very wearably. But there's kind of cuteness about it. I think maybe we're meant to take the name in a cutesy kind of way. I Am, the Nathalie Lorson one. Bit quieter, but just really elegant. There's something very confident about its assertiveness. And I Am, I think, is a good name because it's not trying too hard to convince you of its confidence. And then finally, the freshy one, Discvr Me. Okay, maybe a little bit more simplistically woody in the base. That kind of cucumbery, mangoey freshness has gone, but still a really, really good example of this sort of style. So there we go. Thank you, Brooke. Thank you, Senselier. I think well worth checking out. I don't know if they do a discovery set. Clearly they do these little samples, but worth seeking out, especially if you like to follow the work of Cresp and Lorson. Okay, thank you very much for watching this one. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. And for those of you here with the live, we will be back in a few minutes with another showcase of another brand that until a few days ago was completely unknown to me. Thanks for watching. See you in a bit. Bye now.